Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Sunday Scrum on CBC News Network. I'm Carol McNeil. The Liberals promised to devote one weekly session to question period to answers from the Prime Minister. So this Wednesday, the Prime Minister took all the questions, or should I say the only question. The opposition wanted to know how many times Justin Trudeau has met with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Commissioner over his trip to the Aga Khan's private island. They never got a direct answer, despite asking the question 18 times. Here's a sampling.
How many times has the Prime Minister communicated with the Ethics Commissioner? Answer the question.
It's been asked 4 times already.
For the 8th time. How many times?
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 Just how many times has he met the Ethics Commissioner?
Happy to work with the Ethics Commissioner to answer any questions that she might have. We continue as a government to focus on the priorities of Canadians.
Prime Minister Trudeau responded in a similar way almost every time. He never gave a number, nor did he even confirm that he has even met with either of those commissioners. By contrast, our Sunday Scrum panelists always answer questions directly. And here they are again in Ottawa: Susan Riley, John Ibbitson, and Denise CLA. All right, Denise, how would you describe what we saw there? And don't make me ask you again.
Well, listen, how many times are we going to answer this question about question period and whether it's really questions, it's really answers? And the thing is, this was really what the opposition wanted and needed to do. And in fact, the third party to sort of just put him back against a fence and really just pound into an issue that they felt they weren't getting answers to. But the most important thing here is that it's exposing now this idea of an all-Prime Minister question period, and the opposition is going to play that card to say, well, if you want to answer all the questions, we're going to ask you the same question over and over again. So entertaining, but not much to see beyond that, in my view.
Nothing to see here. Okay, John, what do you think?
I completely disagree with Denise. There was nothing entertaining about it. It was boring. But it goes back to the culture of this thing. If you have a House of Commons, as you sometimes have in other countries around the world that use the Westminster system, in which it's expected that the Minister or the Prime Minister will answer the question that is asked one way or another, then you will get some progress. But whether it's a 1-hour Prime Minister's question or whether it's the Prime Minister answering only leaders' questions through the course of the week, whatever the rules are, if the culture is we ask stupid questions over and over and over again, and we offer stupid answers over and over and over again, you get a stupid question period.
With
non-answers
question,
coupled by
yes,
by meaningless heckling. That's what we've got. It's the culture that has to change, not the rules.
Okay, but was that a stupid question? How many times have you met with the ethics?
It was a stupid, repetitive question. It's somewhat puzzling that the Prime Minister didn't answer right away by saying, I've met with her once and I'm going to be meeting again with her in 3 months. That would be the simple question that would probably put it to bed. My sense is that he didn't answer because the Ethics Commissioner insists on confidentiality when she's undertaking any of these investigations, number one. Number two, the Ethics Commissioner moves at glacial speed. I mean, it's quite possible she still hasn't spoken to the Prime Minister about this issue. We don't know, but it's possible. So he's either respecting the confidentiality thing, he hasn't yet met with her, I would say probably through no fault of his own. He has indicated ever since the beginning that he's willing to work with the Ethics Commissioner and he's willing to answer questions. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. He doesn't feel like he's got anything to lose, and he doesn't feel as if he's done anything nefarious at all. That's the only explanation I can come to for the Prime Minister's avoiding the question.
So when I want to get to the opposition in a second, Susan,
okay,
because, and let me just pop this in here because it will help you make your point, I believe. The opposition didn't let it go. Listen to John Brassard from the Conservatives have a go at the Prime Minister.
What a charade, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister said he would stand up every Wednesday and answer every question that's being asked of every member on this side of the House, and he fails to do it. He's been asked 5 times today. Mr. Speaker, about the Ethics Commissioner. For the sake of my colleagues, I'll ask it again. How many times? 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 And how many times has he met with the Ethics Commissioner?
Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect clarity, they expect consistently, and when asked the same question, I will give the same answer. That's what Canadians expect. I will work with and answer the questions that the Ethics Commissioner and Conflict of Interest Commissioner may have.
You were saying, Susan.
Two things. First of all, this is a venue, this is a gift to hitherto anonymous backbenchers, such as Mr. Brassard, whom we just saw. It gives them a moment in the spotlight. It lets them challenge the Prime Minister directly. It sends a signal to their party leader, maybe, hey, maybe you should consider me for a critic role next time around, because look how good I am at this. But here's my second point about the opposition questioning. They seem to be implying, I guess, I'm not sure what their point was in repeating this question, unless they're implying that the Prime Minister is dodging a meeting with the Ethics Commissioner. If they know that, provide the evidence. I mean, what are they? You know, I think to me the point was lost on me. I didn't understand what they were implying, and if they do have proof, why they're not presenting it.
Well, you know, Susan, I would actually I would agree, and in fact, if there's a transcript of how the Prime Minister should have responded from your remarks, we need to send that to the Liberal folks to again say that there is a confidentiality clause. There's conversations that are happening. We are not in a position to answer. And I think people would understand that. But it's rote questioning, rote answering that we see time and time again. And, you got to say that more oftentimes than not, the opposition will continue to pound away on a question if they see that they're not getting an answer. Yeah. We saw that with the NDP versus Harper. We saw that with Chrétien and the Conservative Party at the time. So again, Susan, let's send the transcripts to the Liberal folks so that they can have that answer around.
Yeah, but it's an opportunity.
Go ahead, John.
But it's an opportunity wasted. First of all, I'll bet you that 9 out of 10 of our viewers don't even know what the topic is. The topic is about whether the Prime Minister improperly took a helicopter trip when he was on a vacation over Christmas with the Aga Khan. So the actual issue is completely lost, and so too is our opportunities. There are big questions, as Susan will tell you, if given a chance, about the funding for this new infrastructure bank. There are questions about Donald Trump and NAFTA. There are questions about infrastructure and flooding. There are questions about what's going on in Europe with NATO and with the EU and with trade, all sorts of things that could have been asked and answered over the course of that hour that were completely lost over the repetitive questioning and the non-answering of an issue that is now 6 months old that most people have completely forgotten about.